Now, Jay, don't go anywhere. For those of you, I mean, you're looking at this. If you're watching this, you've seen there's another name up on the board here, and I sent this gentleman a text and just let him know that Jay and I were going to be doing this, and I said, hey, if you've got any time, certainly listen in, because we all know that Jay brings the heat and Jay is the real deal. But I said, listen in, and if you're open to it, jump on. We'd love to have you. And as you can see, he's been on the entire time. He is the founder of World Ventures. And, some of the things that Jay was talking about, I kept thinking about Wayne. And, talk about loyalty. You talk about leadership. You talk about, walking the talk, reading the books, all of this. All of us are sort of spawned, if you will, from some degree, to some degree from Wayne Nugent. Again, he's not just the co-founder of World Ventures. He's the chief visionary officer. And literally, straight up, just a fact, none of us would be here. My life would not be what it is today. I would venture to say Jay's life may not be what it is today were it not for the vision and the execution of Wayne Nugent's vision. And he is one of the funnest people you will ever meet, one of the funniest people you'll ever meet. You want to have a good time? Hang out with Wayne Nugent. Doesn't matter where you are. Doesn't matter what you're doing. I guarantee you're going to be having a great time. You could be walking through yeah, exactly. You could be walking through the scariest haunted house on planet Earth. You're going to have a good time because Wayne's going to be fun. Wayne's going to be back there giggling and laughing and making fun of all the people trying to scare him. I mean, he's just a brilliant dude. And, and also truly one of the most generous, warm-hearted people that I have ever met. Now, Wayne, I don't know if you're, hopefully, Wayne, you're there and you're hearing this. Yep, there we go. We got him. So if you want Wayne, you can pop on your camera. If not, that's totally fine. Oh, there he is. And of course, you got the books in the background. And Wayne, I just want to tell you, man, I love you, brother. I thank you so much. I'm profoundly grateful for everything that you have done and what you continue to do for myself and my family and for countless other people. And I just really appreciate you taking the time to jump on here. So how you doing, my friend?
Excellent, Martin. Excellent. Hey, love you guys both. And, appreciate everybody for all the things you could choose to do in life. You chose us. For everything you could choose to do with your time today, you chose to be with us. So I thank you for your time, everybody. Martin and I have got a lot of great memories together. I've watched him grow up in this industry and become a pro in the entire industry. I think it was me that told Jay Peso and the guys back in the day, you're not a pro until you can do it again. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to leave our company and go to another company and do it again. That is more difficult. A lot of times you have to redo it in the company you're already in, and build and rebuild and build and rebuild, because there's always going to become the storms that come and go. And tough times don't last, but tough people do. And tough times don't build character, they expose character. And that's really what's happened with Martin over and over again. He says, what's the truth here? Are these good people? Is this a good company? Do we have a good vision? And the answer is always yes. And same thing with Julio and Jay Peso. They've always asked. They've always been man enough and bold enough and mature. What's the truth here? And anytime they've called, I've answered, and I shoot them straight. And that's how we grow together. There's other leaders that never called. They never called, and they wouldn't even take a call. So they're not really leaders. They were politicians that had an agenda. And you got to know the difference between them. Who's asking all the right questions because they really want answers. And so, I bring a few different aspects to the conversation. And so this is going to be bonus training. And so if you can stick with us, stick with us. But there's so much that comes to mind for me when I watch Martin and I go through our history together, and where's Martin sponsoring upline, and what's our history there? He's watched people in his upline leave and get sideways, okay, thinking that they know more and thinking they know better and weren't willing to grow together as a team. And I'm going to talk more about that. But the best of us with a common vision, we stick together and we go move the mountain. But most people that join us, they don't have any leadership background. They don't have any business background. They don't have any sales background. They didn't have good parents. A lot of times they didn't work. They didn't go to church all the time. They didn't play sports or excel at an individual sport like boxing or something that arguably is an individual sport. There's so many life lessons. And as soon as you think you got to figure it out, boom, it all changes. The only constant in life is change. And so what's your ability to adapt to change? And something as so simple and common sense as a recession comes every 3 to 4 years, period. That's normal. We're not living in normal times. Jay mentioned, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, which absolutely you got to read. I had Rich Dad, poor mom. I got a similar story to Robert Kiyosaki. But one thing that set me off in life was Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. I got put in the VA hospital. I was in the Marine Corps. When I was in the Marine Corps, bring me back. I was in that VA hospital. I want to tell you about that book. All right. When I was in the Marine Corps, there's people that that really buy into the Marine Corps esprit de corps, the esprit de corps, and our motto is always faithful, always faithful. It's like get excited, pay attention, get excited, never quit. But in the Marine Corps, always faithful, semper fidelis. Once a Marine, always a Marine. And while I was in the Marine Corps, there's some people that joined the Marine Corps because there was no draft. People volunteered to join. And they get in and they bitch and moan and complain. And they act like they know so much more than their upline. Whether it be their squad leader, their platoon sergeant, like they know more than the commandant of the Marine Corps, and they know more than the president of the United States. And we should all just stop everything that's going on and listen to them. And that goes against the Bible. I mean, you're supposed to respect authority. So you joined it, and then you spend all your time trying to tear it down. Well, during my time in the Marine Corps, I saw lots of people that had a bad attitude. They were toxic to the environment. They were belligerent. Where are they today? I don't know. But the Marine Corps still exists. It way outlived them. And, that's how we are. It's kind of like I've seen lots of people come and go. They hit a certain rank, they hit a ceiling, and they don't know how to grow past that. But they think they're at the pinnacle, and they're not. So that's why the Bible says be humble, seek wisdom above all things, and to be wise, you have to have humility, because then you're teaching. But if you think you know it all, if you think you're a leader and you got the biggest team worldwide or something, and now you're not teachable, pride cometh before the fall. And that's a level of leadership. Like in tribal leadership, there's the 5 levels of leadership, and that's I'm great. Level 3, that's only level 3 leadership. But level 4 is we're great. Level 5 is we're going to change the world. Ain't about I and what I get. I, me, mine, million a month or whatever it is. So it's all about what are we going to co-create together. this is where core values come in. Who are we and what we're about? That's what I care about. The character of a man's soul. Martin Luther King cared about. So who are you? What are you willing to sign up for? What tribe are you joining? That's what matters. That's what lasts. That takes personalities out of it. But I get put in that VA hospital. And I'm thinking someday I'm going to be in this hospital bed for something more serious. And I might not get out. And for me, it's when I get out of here, I want to go live life. And for me, live life meant I wanted to travel. I wanted to see the world. And I didn't want to do it alone. I wanted people to be able to go with me. And, you know, I know I wasn't crazy in that idea. I know there's other people that were longing for the same thing, that this desire to go see the world is just built into us. And we're meant to be social beings. And that's not prejudice, and that's not racist. When you want to go see the world with other people and experience other people and other cultures and celebrate life all over the world and people all over the world, I don't want everybody to be just like me. I don't want to be at war with everybody saying everybody should be a man. That'd be stupid. Men versus women, old versus young, black versus white. It's stupid, right? It's the variety of everybody that makes life great, even the good and the bad. You can't appreciate the good without the bad. You can't appreciate summertime without winter. So when we talk about barbecue, y'all need to know the world you're growing up in right now. We do live in a fake economy. And the way I look at money and success and all this is, I ain't got to outrun the bear. I just got to outrun you. By the time I feel the financial pain that most people feel, the world's gone to hell in a handbasket. You know what I'm saying? You just need enough money and enough residual to stay ahead of everybody else. But if you think that we live in normal times or a normal economy, and that a normal job is going to do, or a normal education is going to do, if you're still buying into that myth and that lie, there's really not a lot of hope for you.
Hold on real quick. I just got to jump in, Wayne. I got this vision of there's a bear in the back, and you and I, we're out in the woods, and there's a bear, and you're running past me. And you're like, love you, brother. I don't got to outrun the bear. I just got to outrun you.
Residual. Because
okay,
of seeing it way in advance and having knowing human nature, knowing cycles, knowing everything. You know, so I work hard when the sun's shining. But you never work just hard. You got to work smart. You got to work long. So you got to be willing to sign up to work hard, work long, work smart when the sun's shining. And you save for a rainy day. And you pay your taxes. And you reinvest in your business. And then when that recession comes every 3 or 4 years, macroeconomics, stuff that has to do with the world, not just you and not just your company, or your company, but there's macroeconomics that affect the micro. But let's talk about Martin Ruoff. Let's talk about Jay Peso. Let's talk about Wayne Nugent. Martin, when I met you, were you married or single?
I was single. Yeah,
Did
single.
you have big bills or small bills?
Well, big debt, small bills. A lot of small bills.
I'm going to get to peso in a minute. But you got to notice this pattern, okay? These life cycles. Because it's you, but it's more than you. You're
right.
part of something bigger.
Right.
You were single. you had debt, you had small bills because you can only afford a certain level of bills.
Right.
Okay, but when you succeeded in World Ventures, were you still single?
Well, when I succeeded, I mean, no, I was in a relationship. Now when I really got successful, I was married.
There was a season of time though that you were succeeding and ranking up R&D under IMD, and you were still single. But
Yeah.
but now you got bigger bills.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you can afford nicer stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then yes, you're in a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's not just you operating autonomously. You have another human to consider.
Yeah.
Okay, in a relationship. And now you can't just build your business the exact same way because you got another person to consider.
Right.
Okay. And then you get engaged. And then you get married.
Mm-hmm.
And that gets deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And then now you're married with children.
Almost. Yeah. Almost. 2 months.
Yeah. So as it gets more difficult, because as one person, you have more responsibilities. Because when you're single and broke, you got you got little responsibilities. But as you make more money and add on more humans and more people, and you got bigger responsibilities, you got bigger bills to pay. But at the same time, that's true. You've enhanced your skills, your network, your influence. And so you can move the ticker more. You have more leverage. You right now are more influential around the country and around the world than when you first started. And same thing with Jay Peso. So even though you're married with children, you're older, you're wiser, you can help new people succeed faster. What I'm looking for and what you're playing team with me on and what Peso's playing team on is we go from a company in its infancy as a startup, which most fail. Matter of fact, take the names off, the personalities off, take everything off, most fail within their first 2 years. That's the fact, period, in this story. Then you go into your teenage years, adolescent. But a company like ours that's as mature as we are all over the world, we're knocking on adulthood. And there's no other company positioned to be the next legacy company. There is no other company better positioned to become the next legacy company in the industry selling anything than us. And that's what we're playing team on, is making World Ventures past this 15-year mark. There's no shortcuts. Into a legacy company. And in the process of you, remember I always say, coming together to start, working together to progress, staying together success. You're going to lose some people along the way. You're going to shake out the impurities. You're going to shake out the weakness. But the ones you hang on to, that's solid, that's core. These are the people with the same values, common vision. Now, when you help build a legacy company, you can become a legend. But if you're jumping from travel into a new company, whether it be like Forex or nutrition or any other, most people don't want to do that. So they go try and jump and build something. They realize, wow, I was a part of something bigger that helped me succeed. It wasn't me, it was us. It was it. It was all of it, right? And then some people try and make their way back to travel. They realize, well, everything they told me and warned me about was true. So, if you haven't read it, you got to read it. It's required reading. It's been foundational to Amway's success through all these years. The magic of thinking big. But one of the first things I taught Jefferson, and the first things I taught Matt Morris, and anybody I work with personally, it is well to respect the leader, learn from him, observe him, study him, but don't worship him. Believe you can surpass. Believe you can go beyond. Those who harbor the second best attitude are invariably second best doers. I never taught him to put me on a pedestal, or anybody. When somebody puts me on a pedestal, where did they put them? Below me. Did I put them below me? No. Who put them below me? They did. I don't let people do that, because great leaders don't build followers. Great leaders build leaders. So look, next paragraph. Look at it this way. Belief is the thermostat that regulates what we accomplish in life. Study the fellow who is shuffling down in mediocrity. He believes he is worth little, so he receives little. He believes he can't do big things, and he doesn't. He believes he is unimportant, so everything he does has an unimportant mark. As time goes by, lack of belief in himself shows through in the way that the fellow talks, walks, and acts. Unless he readjusts his thermostat forward, he shrinks, grows smaller and smaller in his own estimation. And since others see in us what we see in ourselves, he grows smaller in the estimation of the people around him. Now, look across the way who is advancing forward. He believes he is worth much. He receives much. He believes he can handle big, difficult assignments, and he does. Everything he does, the way he handles himself with people, his character, his thoughts, his viewpoints, all say, here is a professional. Here is an important person. That's what Peso saw in Julio. That's what Julio saw in me. Because anytime Julio ever had a fear, a question, a concern, the guy was man enough to call me directly. Peso too.
Can I say one thing, Wayne? One of the things that's gold. And again, I put the name of the book in the Magic of Thinking Big. I put it in the chat box. I highly recommend getting it. It's extraordinary. You know, one of the things also is when someone puts you on a pedestal, yes, they place themselves below you. But one of the interesting things is that inevitably leads to that person resenting you and finding reasons or excuses for them to resent you for their lot in life. And I think that when this is key in terms of leadership. What I love about network marketing, and in particular, I would say with World Ventures, is that it's a level playing field. And I think that our leadership squad, and by the way, of which there are significant IMD like leaders on this call right now. Jefferson is on this, double IMD. Hadiatu, IMD. Keith Willis is on here, IMD. Jeff Boff, quadruple IMD, is on here. These are all people that are not a part of my team with the exception of Hadiatu. Jay Peso isn't on my team, but we all work together as one big team and we all support one another. So I just want to give them some acknowledgement that they're due, but also to point out a couple things that all the people that I just mentioned and many, many others, we're not interested in being up on a pedestal. None of us put ourselves on pedestals except for, the people that choose to do that. And I just think that it's a slippery slope. And if you want to succeed in this business, don't play the pedestal game, because all it will ever lead to is mediocrity and also to resentment. And, I've never felt like, Wayne, I never felt like you ever put me below you ever. Like you've never in 14 years ever spoken to me that way. Neither is Jefferson, neither is Jeff Boff. I mean, so thank you for bringing this up. It's a huge, huge, huge point. I just, anyway, just had to say that. So,
Well, this, in a way, that with all the edification, this business will build your ego.
yeah.
And you got to keep your ego in check. I mean, as soon as you forget where you came from, you're on your way back.
Yeah.
And be nice we see on the way up, because you'll see the people down. And when for me, it's about, I'm always thinking in terms of collaboration and co-creation, and that I'm and as a teammate. And so we're co-creating this. We're a team, and we're doing this together. And so in that, you listen to each other. And through I've worked with some egomaniacs through the years where they just feel like I'm right, and they won't listen to anybody. I'm right. And they have their own selfish aspirations. They have their own vision, their own thing. Okay, great. Get in where you fit in. And if it ain't here with us and our way and our philosophy, then okay, get down the road. But we're looking for more people that are like us. And when I say like us, I don't mean men. I don't mean women. I don't mean man. I don't black, white, old, young, all these things. I mean core values. Are you willing to sign up for core values and be held to a higher standard where iron sharpens iron? And we're looking to build the right kind of leadership, solid foundation. This is rock. When you build people according to these kind of core values, you build people, and then people build the business. And if you want to have a lasting, sustainable business, if you want to go from good to great, this is what you got to have. But it takes humility for people to sign up for this and say, what's your definition of what's your definition of success? What's your view of success? And a minute ago, I was making notes and talking about I was thinking about how the caterpillar becomes the butterfly. And then I started thinking about what Mary Kay liked as her animal of preference. The bumblebee that's not meant to fly. So, the butterfly clumsily flies about, flutters around. The bumblebee, flies a little bit different way, a little bit, maybe arguably more evolved. As leaders, we all want to be the eagle. We think the eagle's like the pinnacle of success. But to me, it's not. Because what does an eagle accomplish, really? I look at geese, and I look at the way they fly as a team in V formation, and they get a lot further, a lot faster over a lot longer period, like that. Okay, and they take care of each other. But then you look at ants, and the Bible says, look at ants, study ants. And when you look at an ant colony, it's really interesting how it looks like a binary downline. I don't know if y'all can see that. But study a model of like an ant colony. And around the leadership, it's all concentrated, but you get these deep legs. You see that? And you might be able to, I'm going to crush you like an ant, okay? And you're big and powerful, and you crush the ant. We don't crush the whole colony. Or now, I guess a way is to bring some poison into it and try and kill off the whole colony by bringing some poison into it, which we've had some leaders like that, right? They're toxic, and they try and sabotage from within. But when you're strong at your core, you can even weather that. So it's rare when a company like this comes along that's over 14 years old, over 4 billion in revenue in over 40 countries, being humble along the way, listening, collaborating, co-creating along the way, always getting better and better and better. So our company right now is in almost every facet better and stronger in every way. And we've had to learn a lot about our business around the world, what it takes to legally run a company like ours around the world. And weather macroeconomic storms, internal storms, all this, but all that stuff just makes you tougher and better and stronger. So what's coming now as we go into momentum, people are going to see what we've done in terms of product mix, price points, comp plan, and there's more coming. And it's about to be lights out. Bye-bye. You know, and how we're going to play to our strengths and highlight our strengths, and people are going to see the differences. And now all the hype is gone from other things. The shine is off. People are going to see right through it for what it is, fear of loss and hype, but not based on anything solid. And World Ventures is. And so for the people that have the strong internal fortitude and character and really believe in our nature, you know, they're still here, and we're all going to prosper in the upside big time. So
hey,
I want to encourage you and other leaders on the call, because Jefferson's married with children, Matt's married with children, Dave Peach married with children. You know, Jeff Boff just became an empty nester. And he's ready to run big time. Hadiatu's a great example of one of those new young guns. Hadiatu, my advice is be very humble, be very teachable, because you're so strong, you're so smart, you're a badass leader. Okay. I used to call it salt and pepper. Salt and pepper. You got to listen to your elders, right? Always be teachable. And you've been phenomenal. Same thing with Keith Willis. You know, although he is older and he's been at the pro leagues and he's got a good mom. You know, I mean, you know, I think he's world class and has a lot to teach us all. You know, he's going from player to coach and from coach to owner. But he's becoming a force all over the world. But so I'm glad you mentioned these other leaders. Mama G's been through a hell of a lot with her health, and prayers go out to her. And I think she looks great and as beautiful as ever. And I look for her coming back like the fiery phoenix that she is. So, but you know, the main thing is, we live in interesting times, and we live in this high-tech world, and we've got to be able to use these social platforms and technology and all this other stuff, and the modern day networkers got to adapt some of this, but it's never going to go away. That at our core, we have a leadership development factory that breeds friendships all over the world, that makes our roots deep and strong, that makes us resilient. Our roots are wide and our root system goes deep. And the fruit of that is going to be huge. And my advice is for nobody to miss it and everybody to maximize it. Now, I promise you, now is the time. You get through the holiday season, and sales always kind of usually dip during the holidays. So don't let your weeklies affect you or your residuals affect you. That was earned in the past. It's what your mindset right now. And when you're coming into January, New Year's resolutions and springtime, right now is you have this window of opportunity to get your mind right. Mm-hmm. And let your mind guide your actions. But you have to think about your identity and your habits. Are you a networker? Are you a pro networker? All I see is IMD. What's the nature of an IMD? What's the identity of an IMD? What's your thermostat? Can you visualize that? and you need to own it. You need to be an IMD here first. And then it's your habits. How are your habits supporting? I created the healthy habit of recruiting because I produce my own lead everywhere I go all the time. I have the healthy habit of recruiting because it's prospecting and inviting and presenting, enrolling and training. And the beginning of all that is prospecting. And I knew if I made myself a master, if I had the habit of prospecting and recruiting, and then I could teach them what to say, how to invite. Because whenever I'm out personally sponsoring and recruiting, read this book. I'm a purple cow. I stand out. I meet a complete stranger and they remember me. I get their name, phone number, and email address. And I call them up. I say, remember me? And like, and I was interesting. And yeah, they could tell I'm a reckoned with. This guy is somebody. This guy's going somewhere. I speak the language. There's a language to success. There's a language to life. They're like, man, this guy's got music. It's not just what he says, it's how he says it. And so when I follow up with people and I go into recruit mode and I go on a blitz, I'm stacked with numbers, man, that I produce myself and buy the leads. I produce these leads every day, all day long. Multiple phone numbers a day. And yeah, they remember me. And then I get them to look. I have a story to tell. I have a story about myself. I have a story about my company. I have a story about where we're going and who I'm looking for. Is that you? Yes or no? I'm going without you. So nailed it. And it doesn't change. It could be Peso and Julio. It's Wayne. It's Martin. It's Jeff. Jefferson. It doesn't change. I don't care if it's New York. I don't care if it's Texas. I don't care if it's California or even Minnesota or Europe. It doesn't change. Our job is to go out there and talk to people and tell our story and say, you want to join us or not? You in alignment with us or not? You want to co-create this or not? You want to be a part of making history or not? But we got one of a kind thing here. Very unique. It's very special. No competition.
And right there, I want to jump in and say, notice that what Wayne said, we've literally just done a loop and we've gone back to how we started this call. And I asked, how did you get started, Jay, with World Ventures? And it was Julio and Jay in a Dunkin' Donuts and Julio doing the very thing that Wayne said he currently has always done and what he currently does and is encouraging us to go do.
He didn't shortcut the sale.
Yeah. Yeah. He's saying he didn't shortcut the sale. Exactly. And,
Bill, you know, at the appointment plan. And he didn't say, I don't tell him anything until I can show him everything.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's what he did that worked.
So,
and at the end of it,
so here's the deal. We've been going for quite a while now. I want to respect everyone's time. I also want to point out, we literally have the same number of people on the call right now that we started with. So I think it's a testament to several things. One, to, you know, the quality of this conversation, certainly to you, Jay, and obviously to you, Wayne, and also to each of you that are participating in this and are silent, are not saying anything except maybe through the chat. You know, this is, I love these types of quote unquote trainings because this is the real deal. Jay said it at the very top of the call. It wasn't so much what Julio said to Jay. It was how he said it. It was how he showed up. And Jay said, like attracts like, strength attracts strength. Wayne has been saying that. Purple cow. I mean, it's all coming back to the same, to some of the same themes. And so here's my advice. Okay. And this is my call to each and every one of you. Go to Momentum. Go to it. If you have not registered, I'm just going to put this little slide up right now, and I'm going to bring Jay back on in just a second. He hasn't left. He's still there, but I just want to show this slide real quickly. This is Momentum, January 24th to the 26th. It's going to be in straight up, lights out, all out fire. And by the way, it's going to start Friday evening. We're doing something different Friday evening. There is a very particular announcement that's going to begin Friday evening. In fact, for those of you that are going to train the trainers, it will actually begin at Train the Trainers, but it's only for those of you that qualify to be at that event. And just so we're really clear, okay, this is not something that this is an unusual announcement. This is not something you've heard before. This is not, and I'm not hyping it up. I'm just telling you, this is different. This is definitely different. So be at this event. To miss this event is a huge, monumental mistake. Again, just the quality of the training from Jay Peso alone. If that's all the training was about, if it was just Jay, it would be freaking beyond worth it. Then you stack on the everybody else, Dave Uloa. I mean, there's just so many great trainers at this event. So book your ticket for it. And by the way, get your team to this event. I want to also just acknowledge one thing. There's people that are doing, and Wayne, you'll appreciate this. There's people that are doing call parties right now, not call parties, but like, Jim and Donna Chambers, Michael and Katie Catlow, they're all together, and they've got a bunch of their team members. They've got something like 14, 15 team members all together in the same room watching this. So, there's multiple trainings like that happening right now, plugging into this event. For all of you that are doing that, my advice would be get on the phone and start calling everybody in the team and saying, get registered for Momentum, because this literally has the ability to be, I think, the most transformational event that we have done in many, many, many years. And I truly, truly believe that. So, so Jay, if you have just another minute, man, I appreciate you being on here, and I texted Jay when Wayne came on and was talking for a few minutes. I said, hey, can you stick around? And Jay's like, shit, I'm taking notes, man. So Jay, if you're there, if you have a minute, just are there any parting thoughts that you would share with us? And I would have a question that would also just be, what is your mindset right now? What is Jay Peso's freaking mindset right now? And what is Jay Peso's actions right now?
Yeah, he's producing and he's showing up on the leaderboard all the time, man. Jay, man, great job, Jay. Proud of you, bro.
Thank you, Wayne. Appreciate you. But man, right now I'm just focused on a brand new 10,000. Working like never before. Getting a bunch of new people to Momentum. Momentum was the national that changed my life, and that's no hypey talk or anything like that. That was the event that did it for me. Came back from that event, and every 90 days. I was popping a rank. I was hitting rank every 90 days after that event. I would tell everybody that's on this call right now to promote this event like there's no other. I mean, I'm telling you right now, you do not want to miss what's about to go down at this event. I'm gonna bring the fire, but I'm more excited for I'm more excited for what's gonna happen that weekend. That me and June spoke about, and me and some of the other leaders have spoke about. But if you want to win big in this game, you got to do the work, which is present, and you got to be a great promoter. You have to promote. The event is going to do half the work that you cannot do. It's going to put that belief in your teammates that you can't put in. There's something that you can't teach. There's a feeling that they're going to get in their heart that you can't give by, just listening to audio or, reading a book. So, man, get them to this event. It's going to change their lives. It's going to change your life. It changed my life. I never missed an event, and every time I make it to all the nationals, man, every national, I just get better and better and better and better, you know? So, I mean, we only got about 2 weeks. I remember the first time I went to this event, I had about 3 weeks to go. My decision was not to go. June asked me, do you really want to change your life? This is what you told me, right? You want to change your life? And I say, yeah, I do. He said, well, this is the event that, you know, that's going to help you do that. You know, there's people making the kind of money that you want that's going to be on the stage teaching you how to get there. So you can either have an excuse or you can make it happen. And I don't know what happened, but I made a decision to go, and I made, you know, I found the money somewhere. You know, I pawned some jewelry. You know, I did whatever I had to do to get some extra cash to go stay at a hotel. I did anything to get to this event, and it changed my life. Now I'm forever grateful for June pushing me to that event, because he could have easily said, okay, cool, so go to the next one. But he didn't. And because of that, my life was changed. So get to this event. We're going to have a lot of fun. And it's going to be like energy like you never felt before in your life. So, yeah.
Rock and roll. Rock and roll. Wayne, any brief parting thoughts?
Yeah, great job, Jay. It's easy to get in World Ventures. You know, you here's your payment, you put it in the computer, boom, you're in the computer. You know, you're in World Ventures. It's when you go to the big events that World Ventures gets into you, and you'll only perform to the level of your belief. And when you go to a big event, your belief goes way up. If you're learning by the best of the best of the best, and there's a cost to go, but the bigger cost is not going. What it costs you in time and money to not go is huge, based on what you get when you get there and what you bring home with you, and your ability to succeed a lot bigger, a lot faster. What about that time? What about that money? That matters. Coming out of it, that time and money matters more than the time and money than it took to get there.
Yeah.
And so is it worth it? Absolutely. We never, ever, ever, I make it a habit, a natural, a very ongoing thing with me. We got this huge audience. I ask them during the first half of the first day, because it's always just so quality and overwhelming and worth it. I ask the entire audience authentically. I'm not pandering here. I'm not looking for an answer. I want your honest, authentic answer by applause and everything. How do you believe that this was worth it? Already, you've already gotten your money's worth. What it took for the plane ticket, the hotel, the ticket to the event. And these events cost money. We don't make like a lot of money off these events or anything. Okay, we do these events for you. We put out a lot of money and go on the hook and create a lot of risk to give you an event, because what if we didn't have them? Right? It's something that we've baked into our business model that we have that's unique and exceptional. We've taken the mantle. Amway used to be #1 at it. Now we're #1 in the world at it. We have the best events around the world. We have the best leadership development factory around the world. When you go to an event like this, you're being groomed to be the future leader, the future trainer of an international, global, massive company. And if you're not at the event and you're not a part of the culture and you're not learning from other leaders on the breaks and in between and at lunch and in the evenings, there's what's happening from stage, all the lessons that are coming from stage. But then there's all the lessons that are not from stage. And I told our leaders, when you go to these events, I say, get good in your city and get good in your state and get good by coming to events. And one day you're going to be the leader that we're sending around the world to train other people all over the world. We got leaders that join our company that don't speak English. People, when they first join us, they don't speak English. They were not a leader. They're not a salesperson. They're not a pro networker. And all of a sudden, they don't speak English. Now, all of a sudden, they become IMD. They had to learn English along the way, and now they're training all over the world. That's impressive, okay? And what I'm telling you, what's coming next for all of us is there's going to be the J Peso Network Marketing TKO book. And I can't wait to buy it. I can't wait to endorse it. I can't wait to recommend it to everybody. There's going to be a book from Martin Ruff called The Late Night Rants of Martin Ruff. Bourbon and dropping just pearls of wisdom. You know, I don't know what Keith Willis's Super Bowl, book will be, and his ring and all this, from player to coach to owner, something. But I'm just telling you, we got Jeff Boff on, the ultimate warrior of network marketing. I've already got Jefferson's book. There's Jefferson's book.
Yep.
Okay, the best students become the best teachers. The best followers, the best leaders, the best readers, the best authors. Matt Morris's book. But we're going to do more of that, and we're going to endorse each other. I'm telling you, man, we are going to take over this entire industry. But you got to keep the faith. You got to stay the course. You got to stay plugged in. You got to keep coming to the Leadership Development Factory. Got to keep building these bonds of friendship that are going to last for the rest of our lives. You're going to have days. You're going to have bad days. There's some days you're not going to be able to carry yourself. You're going to have plenty of friends like us that are there to carry you. And we care about legacy wealth. And a lot of us are married now and have children now. And we're already planning for the next generation. We're planning a company and a business that you can build that goes on to your kids, our kids. And when our kids grow up together and realize we built something for them, I mean, it's going to be epic. It's going to be historic. And we got examples to learn from, whether it be Mary Kay or Herbalife or Amway. But I think we can take it to a whole nother level of what we do together in terms of generational wealth and for our families and for our kids. And that's the vision I have for us. And so, Troy Brown comes to mind big time. Jeff Boff, all of us. I'm telling you, all of us. Matt Morris, his girls, my kids. I mean, I'm just telling you, our kids are going to grow up doing this together and impact the world with our foundation, everything we're teaching.
I'm going to tell you this too, everybody. I'm not kidding, and Jay knows this. There's some very exciting things coming, and I started off this call by saying this is the year that we harvest. This is the year that we reap what we've sown, and we have been sowing seed for years and years and years. And if some of you are tired and some of you are weary and some of you are going, when is my season of harvesting coming? This is what I will tell you. This is the year. This is the year, and this is the decade. And no hype, no rah-rah. I'm telling you, this is about, we are poised to go mainstream. And that's all I'll say about it. But you heard from Jay. You see what Jay is doing. You're right. Jay is on that leaderboard. There's an IMD leaderboard. He's on that thing basically every day. I mean, he's flat out killing it right now. So when he's out there saying, go to work, I'm going to work, I'm building new teams, if that's what he's doing and he's already reached the pinnacle, if you will, what he knows is there's another level for him. So if he's out doing that, that's a great example to follow. So let's just go work like we've never worked before and get to momentum. And Jay, I appreciate you so much for taking all the time to be on here. Really, I've gotten a ton of texts, just like people, blown away by everything that you were sharing, and obviously in the chat box as well. And Wayne, of course, you are, you're it, man. You really are. Thank you for being who you are and being such an extraordinary example of how to live. And you are that quote, you are that master in the art of living. And that's not, it's not that false, fake, rah-rah pumping you up. That is the real deal. You really are. So thank you for being who you are.
I mean, we're going to be lighting up 20 million customers in 2020. Yeah. 20 customers in 2020.
Yeah.
It's not a year and a new you. It's a new decade for you and for us and for World Ventures. You got to bring that pappy, man.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Yeah. And Monaco's on here too, Monaco, if you're ready to play ball too, and Jeff Boff, and we'll see. We'll see. So everybody, thank you all very much. I hope you got at least one thing out of this. I'm sure you got a lot more. And I think that's it, everybody. God bless. Have an extraordinary weekend. Let's go take over.
Let's get it.
We'll see you, everybody. Take care.
Love you, Martin. Love you, everybody.
Love you too, guys. See you, man.